All right, August 2nd workout. We're gonna do durability and activation, 3 rounds, 10 reps each. The first one is a couch marching bridge. I'm gonna demo on the beam. So getting just the upper back on the couch so that your low back and glutes or hips are off the couch. And then I'm gonna extend my leg, hold for a second, and then switch. So I'm staying up the whole time. I'm just marching my legs. Try not to let your leg go too high, try to keep kind of the knees together. If you want to hold for a little bit longer, so 1,000, 2,000, you can. Just notice if the hips start to sink. You should be tucking your tail as much as possible. And if you were on the couch and you wanted to lay your head back if it was bothering your neck, you can do that. Okay. So you're going to do 10 reps. So it's just 1, 2, 3. Every time you lift up a leg, it counts. But since it's reps and not for time, take your time, go nice and slow. I labeled this one control for the name of the workout. So we're trying to find control of those pieces. We're going slower, but we're not resting. So anytime you're slowing down, you're holding an isometric piece, which essentially raises the heart rate. So you're still getting time under tension for that workout. The second warm-up piece, activation, is gonna be an overhead lunge. So I don't care how light you go, as long as you can keep your arm locked out. So if it's here, we're not gonna do that. For the warm-up, for the priming those muscles, really extend through the elbow and push the shoulder up. And then you're just gonna do 5 lunges on one side and 5 on the other. Just make sure, because it's 5, if you leave off on this leg, when you switch, you start with the other leg so you don't double up. All right, so just 10 lunges total. If you wanted to do more, you could. And a lightweight, just anything that you can, again, get to that lockout position so it's not hanging out here, okay? Windshield wipers is the third one. So sitting down, I know I'm elevated right now, but I'm gonna take my feet wide, hands behind me. I'm gonna drop my knee down to the floor. So my knee should be touching the floor. Sometimes like the knee and the foot sort of come together, but the fault with this one is that people do this. So we're gonna take our feet wide and windshield from left to right. So that's your windshield wipers, and then prone snow angels. So I'm gonna move this one here. So laying on your belly. It's almost like you're making a snow angel or swimming, something in the water. So I'm gonna take my hands from the small of my back and go all the way around to the front to my thumbs touch, and then all the way back to the small of my back. You can rest here and then lift up the elbows, go around, thumbs touch and back. And I'll give you 2 options with that one. You can have your head lifted, or you can have your forehead down. Forehead down is harder. You get more shoulder mobility because I have to really lift my arms up behind me to get them above the head. If I lift my head up too, I'm getting a little bit of shoulder and a little bit of back. So I'll give you some options, but like I said, forehead down is kind of nice, especially because it's your own floor. Okay, so that's your activation. You're gonna do 3 rounds of that, 10 reps each. The WOD is a 20-minute AMRAP, 20 to 30 reps. So you could choose to do 30, and then on the, second or third or fourth round, as you start to fatigue, if you get to like 18, I fail at that one, even though we're not doing overhead press, if you get to a failure position, then let it go. Or you might just not have a lot of time, or you don't want to spend a lot of time in the movements, and you just want to go quickly, so you might choose the lower number 20. It really depends on what size weights you have in that, but I'm giving you that general range, okay? So this one is a single dumbbell overhead, so it's not what you think. I'm going to place that dumbbell overhead, but it's going to be slightly in front of my face. So it can really be anywhere in here, anywhere in that range. You're going to find that sweet spot. It should be generally up, about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit higher. And then as I perform my squat, my elbows stay locked out. And what this does, it helps to keep your back active, helps to prevent people from tucking under. I even struggle with the mobility in my back with my squats. So this has been really helpful with, again, keeping my back in extension, okay? So, again, it's not completely overhead, it's a little bit in front, and you just have to keep your elbows straight. I would suggest looking at the dumbbell. I use an 8-pound dumbbell, and that was enough weight. The second one is gonna be A-flies. So if you have bands and you wanna do lat pull downs, you can. With the band, sometimes we stop here because it hits our body. but our lat actually goes all the way back here. So I did this with 3-pound weights. This is an A fly. So you guys have probably done like a T fly before, or different positions. We're gonna do an A. So I'm gonna essentially do that lat pull down, but back here. So some options, if it's light, hold for a few seconds, come down nice and slow, and go right back up. Think like hot plate. So I don't wanna rest at the bottom, I wanna go right back up. Or you can stay back here. So if I kind of pulse, you can get that muscle to start fatiguing. And then once it starts to fatigue, if you're not done with your reps, then you can go for some fuller ranges of motion, okay? You're gonna feel that in the lats and probably the back of the shoulder. The third piece is a sumo squat. And so I'm gonna go into my sumo squat, toes are out, my knees are out, and that's what you really wanna focus on. I wanna make sure that wherever I am, no matter how tight I am, that my knees and toes are sort of facing the same direction. So kind of figure that out. My knee should be right over my ankle, so I'm looking for a nice setup. And then I'm just gonna alternate leaning from left to right. So my arm, it can go on your leg, but it's going on the inside so that I'm keeping myself up. I'm just gonna take the other arm straight up. We've done these before. And we've got 30 to 20 reps, but if you wanted to count, so stay here, maybe hold, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and do that instead, because doing this, 1, 2, 3. If you're trying to like do your reps really fast, it's like too much. So I'll give you the option of counting to like 30 or 20. So that's your sumo squat. I'll just show you from the front. So again, I'm just leaning over and getting some movement in my spine. My arm is pushing my leg open, which feels nice, and I'm not resting. All right, you can do whatever you want to do with the other arm. It might go straight up. It might be able to touch your ear. Surprisingly tough one here. The fourth one, last one, is alternating L pops, but on 2 chairs. So you might have 2 chairs. You might have like a stack of books, yoga blocks, something, okay? These are pretty high. And so a regular like chair that's not a stool is actually a perfect height. So my feet are out in front of me. I'm gonna go for those alternating L pops, and I'm just simulating sort of being on like the parallettes or the rings, which is nice. So a little different than sitting on the floor if they're tough for you when you normally lean back when you do these. If you wanna make it harder, just go down nice and slow. So it's a pop. You do use some momentum to get it up there, and then just try to go really slow on the way down. Okay, those are tough. My leg got really high. Your leg might not be as high, but whatever like you see, so I'm looking at like my mat right there. I'm gonna try to hit that mat or that mark on the wall every time. And it does come up, like I said, with some momentum. So you have 20 to 30 reps of all of those, 20-minute AMRAP. So like I said, take your time, do them really well, rest in between the 20 and 30 if you need to. And that is your WOD for August 2nd. See you guys.